Joining me from his travel trailer in the Lone Star State of Texas is Instagram and TikTok celeb Kent Burris. You know him as Dine with Kent. If you fished with him off of the coast of Texas, you know him as Captain Kent. But Kent, I love that you're with us in your travel trailer, that this is rustically chopped. I love that I met you over social media and that this is you, that we live in a world. I got to tell you, there are weeks where I love my job. I could just go into your messages and say, will you come on, Kent? And at the same time, Texas Monthly is profiling you. But that's a long-winded way of saying, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fine, and I just want to say, Robin, thanks for inviting me. I'm very flattered by it whenever you asked if I would be on your show. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Isn't it an amazing world that maybe in a past life you would want to be on Johnny Carson or some other thing, but I found you, like I found our other guests, on social media, and it was so endearing. And finally, when you had Persian food in Houston at Rumi's, which I love, and they offered to treat you like a king. They offered to bring you the sultani plate, and they described it, and the look that you gave them. I'm gonna play that for our listeners.
Is it Iran or Iran? We'll call it Persian. So if I wanted something truly representative of like a Persian cuisine, could you make not something foo-foo, just something representative?
Yeah, absolutely. I got the perfect one already.
The perfect one?
It's sultani kebab. You get two different types of beef. You get a flat and tenderized, a bar kebab they call it, tenderized beef. Also with kubide, which is ground snuff beef that they hand make. Everything's put on the skewer, fire roasted. Yes. So in Farsi, the sultani means what they would serve the king's platter.
The king?
King, yeah, king's platter. That's what they.
The king's platter. Mm-hmm. You know, I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I ask in a very loaded way, who are you?
I'm just I'm a highway construction worker, Robin. That's what I do. You know, I've never meant to be a social media guy at all. I haven't been doing it that long. I just kind of fell into it, and I've been blessed by, you know, the warm welcoming I've had from the community, and actually, believe it or not, from 30 different countries, probably. You know, I hear from South Africans every day. I hear from Jamaicans, and it's just the interaction is amazing to me. And I can tell you that, you know, I've been to so many different places. I've been to Ethiopian places. I went, you know, to a Cameroonian, which is in West Africa. You know, I've been to, you know, all the Asian ones almost. And I can tell you that's been such a wonderful experience. Because the human interaction has been incredible, and the way that the people, you know, I walk into a place a lot and I look a lot different than everybody else in there. And
I read that you invite that momentary discomfort. It's not a discipline that a lot of people have. Look, especially when I'm on the road, I like my creature comforts, you know. I know that if I'm in Austin, there's an In-N-Out burger not far from the airport. If I'm in Houston, I gotta go have a Whataburger. You know, but of course, we have some of the best Indian American food in the United States. You have Persian food. If you go into Louisiana and other parts, there's Vietnamese and Cambodian food. What is it about you that immersed yourself, maybe career-wise background, in this impulse to trust that momentary discomfort?
That's how I built my career. I'm a corporate vice president for a large publicly traded company. And the reason I'm where I'm at in my career today is putting myself a little bit above, a little bit out of my comfort zone without getting too far to where I set myself up for failure. Because, you know, if we can all stay in our comfort zone and just live life comfortably, but I like living a little bit on the edge.
Of course, you're in your travel trailer. Texas is an enormous state. I mean, you could place entire countries in it. You go from West Texas. There are different countries within it. There's so many different nationalities of food. They're some of the largest cities in the United States, and you could stick to the chains. But there's part of you that realizes you have to be on the road so many days of the year the easy thing to do is just to bring in the food in a carry-out bag and eat in your travel trailer or a Motel 6. But something told you, especially when you were introduced to social media, to try the opposite of that.
Yeah, well, I've been doing the cultural cuisine only for about 4 months. I've only been on Instagram for 4 months. I had Dine with Kent on TikTok for a little over a year before that. But the cultural cuisine has really just been the last 4 months. And believe it or not, I was walking from my office to lunch one day through a shopping center, and I was going to like a Mexican place or something. And I walked right by this it's an African cafe. So I'm looking in the window to see what it looks like in there. And I decided, heck, I'm going to walk into this place. And that started the whole thing, Robin. That is what created my curiosity. And I was a fish out of water. I did not feel comfortable. The food, I didn't know what it was. They had some things that just sounded totally disgusting to me, and I wanted more of it.
If you're just joining us, Dine with Kent Burris is joining us from a trailer park in his traveling getup in Texas. And it's so authentic that you lost your internet. What do you carry, some roaming 5G thing with you, some little fob or dongle? Or
What
you
I
tether
did
to
is
your phone?
I switched to my hotspot on my phone because the internet here at the RV park's been pretty unstable lately.
You gotta love that. Think about what that all says, is that in a recent past life, you had to be plugged into cable TV. You had to be on a late show to go quote unquote viral. But since since 2007, 2008, when most people have had a smartphone, you have a camcorder in your hands, you have an editing device, you could travel with a tablet or a laptop, and you decided, by way of continuing the conversation, that I could just record these things. It might initially be for family. I saw it described somewhere as like a FaceTime conversation for your family. And
Right.
that's what it feels like when you're trying a new cuisine. Explain. I mean, there was no risk to it. I think you must prop it up against the salt shaker or something.
I do. Glass of water, napkin holder, whatever's available to me. Look, what you see is authentic. I mean, it's just an old white guy that's walking into places where I have no business being, and all I got is my phone, and I lean it up against whatever's available to me. I don't have a cameraman. I don't have ring lights. I don't have any of that stuff. What you see is what you get.
So was it your daughter who was on TikTok previously? I mean, you now, by way of background, you have about 500,000 followers on TikTok. About half of that on Instagram, where I found you. And I guess one of the great catapult moments was the model socialite Bella Hadid saw you and recommended you. And I got to tell you, there was another chef somewhere. I first discovered you, and I was looking at the best thing these people ever ate. You're like, one of them said, the best new thing on Instagram, you got to follow Dine with Kent. And it was so, like I say, rustically chopped. I don't know if it was that Ethiopian video where you were crowned king or whatever it was, but broadly, when you step back from it, what was the light bulb moment? What was the moment where you realized, wow, I'm kind of on to something?
Just the reaction on the first video. When I walked into the African restaurant, which turns out to be Nigerian restaurant, I didn't realize, I thought African was African, but there's 54 different countries in Africa. And I posted that, and that one video got almost 2 million views, and the reaction was just tremendous. And it became very apparent that people really relate to being out of their comfort zone when they walk into a place. And I can't tell you, Robin, how many people send me back comments about how thankful they are for let them come out of their comfort zone. So there's a tremendous amount of people that, from what I'm seeing, that are actually doing what I'm doing now and just walking into places that they normally or ordinarily wouldn't have walked into without following me.
We're going to play that hugely viral video right now of Dine with Kent trying Nigerian food.
I have never in my life had African food. We're in the woodlands. Hi. I'm going to treat myself, but I've never had this kind of food, so I might need some help.
So this is the beef.
That's the beef. What's that other stuff in there?
This is cow skin.
Cow what?
Cow skin.
Cow skin.
This is
Can I get it without the skin? Yeah, just the beef. That's the goat.
this is good.
And this is fish.
Yes.
What is this?
Mackerel. This is drumstick.
Drumstick.
Yeah, chicken.
Oh, looks good. What is this one over here?
Okay. This is croaker. Croaker fish.
Oh, croaker. Okay. What
This
are-
is turkey.
What is that?
Turkey.
Oh,
Yeah.
and what's that one back there?
This is whiting fish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And this is smoked fish.
Smoked fish.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. All right, here we go. Beef and beans. There goes nothing.
Okay, so what happened after that? I mean, you obviously liked the food. Here's the thing I don't quite understand, and I'm sounding like an old man. At what point did we as a society get a memo that it's fun to watch people try food? You know, there's this Persian guy. It's me, Kev. There's some woman in Florida who tries sub sandwiches. There's a woman in her car. There are all these influencers that you see and kind of the satisfaction, but you don't exactly fit that mold in that you're not saying, oh, just unbelievable injera bread, and this compared to the Ethiopian that I had in Queens, New York. No, it's very straightforward and vulnerable. Like you say, you're a fish out of water. You show up, you say, I'm here. What is this? What is this? What would you recommend? What should I have? And then your smile gives it all away. You're not there to knock anybody down. You're not there to be, a James Beard judge or anything like that.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just there to, for the experience and to learn. I grew up, in a not a very diverse, part of the world, or part of, I'm 62 now, and I did not grow up in a world of diversity. And for me to be experiencing what I'm doing right now, people ask me a lot, Robin, about what did you eat before? Why are you 60 years old going into an Indian place for the first time? I ate spam. I ate McDonald's burgers. I ate pizza, Chinese buffets, Italian chain restaurants, that kind of thing. Just what I thought everybody else around me was eating, but I've always had a deep passion for food and restaurants and for cooking myself. I'm a pretty darn good cook myself. And because of that, and I've always, this social media, even before social media, I would go into restaurants and, pick interesting, now not the, not the Nigerian ones or not the cultural ones, but I always, if I'm in Louisiana, I'd go find the Cajun ones. So yeah, it's been fun, just a great learning experience. And I really can't say enough about the human interaction with the staff of these places.
Ken, take me back into the Wayback Machine. Where were you born?
I was born in Kentucky. As I'm a twin. I was my father was in highway construction, so the apple didn't fall far from the tree. I'm in highway construction, and then we moved around chasing highway projects in my childhood through Missouri and Arkansas, and eventually, graduating high school and college in Illinois.
Where did you go to college?
Where did I go to college? I went to actually just a community college called Illinois Valley Community College.
And did you meet? I'm taking you back then because were you immersed? Did you get your first taste of kind of international students back then? I'm trying to track you from Kentucky, ending up in Texas with this flair for international cuisine. Like, what was that first introduction to the open mindedness?
4 months ago, Robin.
Really?
I think so. Yeah, I really hadn't been around it that much.
As you know, I mean, I don't want to get into the political or anything. There's a pronounced backlash to everything DEI. And that there's diversity and inclusion in that right now. And then this is something that was emphasized. Some people argue to too much of an extent 4 or 5 years ago, and there's a certain rigidity right now. So I think part of the appeal and the interesting thing here is that, no offense, Ken, you could be a character on King of the Hill. Uh,
I
but
get
you
told that. I get told that.
it's like you could be, Uncle Kent with the fishing boat in Texas and the Gulf of Mexico. But when you actually do the antipodal, diagonally unexpected thing, it's really paradoxical and refreshing in this environment. So I guess that you're on the road anyway, and you figured I could just take my stuff back to my trailer. I could take it to a hotel. Look, I love crashing at an Applebee's on occasion and being left alone. And I order on the tablet and get everything slathered in whatever their wing sauce and the big old burger and the handle of soda. But you specifically, I mean, are there people that kind of clue you? Once you broke big 4 or 5 months ago, are people saying, "Hey, look, you really need to try this in, let's say, Abilene"?
Oh, yeah, every day, several times a day. Yeah, I get suggestions on different types of cuisines to try in specific restaurants, and hundreds of times a day in my comments, I get told that I need to take my show on the road and have a traveling Kent, and even go international. Unfortunately, I can't do that. I'm still working. I wish I could if I was retired, and the Food Network hadn't called me yet. So,
Well, well, does it bother your day job, folks? I mean, you're an executive at a construction company, and it's publicly traded.
yeah, I keep a very hard line there to keep them separate. Yeah, they know about it. They can't help but know about it, but it's not brought up by anybody at work. And I did get busted. I accidentally did a video with a company logo on my shirt, and I got corrected for that. And I haven't done it since. So I do try to keep it
Well,
work.
it's a hobby. I don't see how different it is. From people don't seem to remember. You had a kind of a blog, a video blog of your fishing adventures. You are Captain Kent. You
Yes,
take the boat out, right? You are
yes, still
known
do.
this, and pronounce it for me, Aransas, Texas.
Port Aransas. It's down on the Texas Gulf Coast. It's kind of northeast of Corpus Christi.
And so shrimping and fishing, what kind of catch is there? The Gulf is known for its bountiful seafood. Are you catching grouper, tilefish, snapper, all sorts of shellfish?
Well, we catch red snapper and grouper and amberjack and wahoo, and there's a strong variety of different species of fish out in the Gulf. And the reason I started Captain Kent well before Dine with Kent was because I see pretty cool stuff offshore. I've seen a 400-pound sunfish, come
Just at
up
the
and
top of the water.
come up
Yeah.
to the boat and look at us. I've seen, big military ships. I've seen all kinds of stuff that I thought it'd be cool to share.
Do you go fishing near oil rigs?
The oil rigs are not elevated anymore. We used to just go out and you could visibly see them, but most of them have been cut down, and we have to know where they are, plot them, and we can find them on our sonar, and we still fish over those old rigs.
So that's all by way of hobby. It's not like you're running a party boat or a charter boat, or you're not really selling en masse to restaurants or anything when you bring in that catch.
Oh, no, no, no. It's for eating only. It's for entertainment. It's only been family and friends. I have taken a few TikTok buddies, people I met on TikTok, followers that became my friends. I have taken a couple of those. But yeah, it's all recreational.
So the template right now, you talked about Food Network as recently as 5, 6 years ago. You might be excited to get a Food Network coming in. I mean, one of the through lines of our show is a disruption of traditional linear TV and legacy media. A lot of the people right now, a lot of the stars, the influencers of cuisine, and I don't know if you espouse the word influencer or not. You're just Kent, and it's your personality, and it's like vertical video, and I see it on Insta, and the algorithm gets me. It knows that I hashtag Persian food. It knows that I like certain recipes and everything. What is the rough kind of template recipe? Do you try to do 2 to 5 minutes? You come in, it sees you talking to an anonymous server or something. Fill us in on how you've refined it.
So my experience really is to film just about everything I do in a restaurant. When I'm walking in, my phone's kind of in front of me, just in case I interact and have a conversation with somebody when I'm there. Um, I put the phone against my glass of water or the napkin holder, and I pretty well record the whole thing. And then when I get back to my camper at night or whatever, I put those together. I've learned all this myself and through YouTube, trial and error. And so I get back here to the camper at night or at home down at the coast on the weekend, and I put them together. And so I end up with like one 45-minute long video that's got a bunch of dead spaces in between while I'm waiting for my food or whatever. But I record myself because you never know what human interaction, someone's going to walk up, you know, and that's really, I think, the difference is I catch these off topic, conversations with the wait staff because I'm filming the whole time. And so I start off with like a 45-minute video and I cut it down and I try to make it, 2 minutes, no more than 3 minutes. And so sometimes as I trim them down, then it's getting harder and harder and harder because I'm down to good content that I have to start figuring out and prioritizing what I want to keep and what I want to discard.
And that's all done entirely on your phone, on your portable, your portable internet connection in your trailer, in a trailer park. Maybe the trailer park has Wi-Fi. And you do that after every meal. It's like you give yourself homework.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have anything else to do anyway, unless my wife's up here with me or something. But then she goes with me. But yeah, I could sit around and watch TV all night, or I could do something fun like that and share, something really good, fun to share with a lot of people.
Now, tell us about the learning process, because we are in a do-it-yourself kind of YouTube world where you could also use Chat GPT. You have all these co-pilots with you. You're really not alone. I mean, in a past life, maybe it was a CB radio, right? I'm thinking Smokey and the Bandit. But now you're there. You pull up YouTube. You're telling me, how do I cut? How do I stitch? How do I use iMovie? I mean, are you on an iPhone? Is that
I'm on an
completely
iPhone.
self-taught?
Yeah, I'm on an iPhone, and I started off with iMovie because that's what I Googled on how to do it. And of course, it's going to give you a default program that's on the iPhone. But then I learned there are some other better video editing apps, and that's what I use. I use one called CapCut, and I became fairly proficient with it through trial and error and YouTube videos. And I haven't reached out for help to anybody. No one's really taught me how to edit anything. So I'm pretty well self-taught at this point.
Full disclosure, I'm Roben Farzad. It is clearly my joy. I hope you're watching this on YouTube or Insta or wherever Kent wants to post it. It's truly my joy to have Kent Burris. You know him as Dine with Kent on TikTok and Instagram. He is the young 62-year-old gourmand who loves to visit restaurants across Texas and Louisiana and the surrounding areas in his trailer and films them very rustically chopped, not a lot of high polish. This is not Jerry Bruckheimer or anything doing it, but he's in your living room and he is in the zeitgeist right now. He's joining us, in fact, from his trailer. Are you outside of Houston right now?
Yeah, I'm on the west side of Houston.
Wow, do you hear a lot of tornado sirens? I feel like you and Reed Timmer, that guy who's chasing tornadoes across the panhandle. Like, watch out for Hoover and Pampa. That's all I know.
You know, my first night with my family, my wife and my grandson, in this camper right here where we're sitting, Hurricane Beryl came through, and we
Wow.
made it. And I was in here googling how much wind can a travel trailer take, and
Ken,
there.
how many grandkids do you have?
How many grandkids? I have two.
And did they? So I imagine they're on TikTok and Insta, and they know that's a currency that you could, Thanksgiving dinner, you could kind of walk in your Ethiopian king robe.
Yeah, well, the oldest one, we actually raised him part time, part of his life, so he would sit with me while I was editing videos.
Wow.
And then my oldest daughter has a daughter, and actually, my oldest daughter, Brittany, she's been with me on one of my videos, and then my youngest daughter, Shelby's been with me on several of them.
So who else has reached out kind of from the way back now that they've seen you? I mean, clearly me out of nowhere, an Iranian guy in Richmond, Virginia, who sees you eating Persian food on Instagram, who loves you. I'm flattered when I messaged you. You kind of wrote me back. You said, "Give me a call. Let's see if you're legit." I mean, that's very nice. I didn't have to go to the William Morris Agency or UTA or anything, or your handler. I mean, at least at this point, you're still accessible. I know you were in Texas Monthly, and you're gonna be on the Daily Show or something soon. But who else got in touch with you after after you went hugely viral?
Yeah, the Texas Monthly, that's out right now. It just came out this week in Texas Monthly on the online, and it's posted right now. You can pull it right up. I think they're going to do a collab with me on Instagram this week. I've done an interview that was posted with Cron.com. Cron is the local
Houston Chronicle?
Houston newspaper here, and so I was on their web version. And I did an interview with KPRC Channel 2 here in Houston a while back.
So I am a trailblazer for public media. I was the first to get Kent, right? That could be on my tombstone back then. Full disclosure, stay with us. Full Disclosure airs on NPR, Spotify, YouTube, all of the fine podcatchers. You could catch us, of course, on Instagram, and we are on LinkedIn, Facebook. Heck, I bet you I'm still on MySpace. Holler if you too would like us on your air. We are on WVTF Radio IQ across the great Commonwealth of Virginia, KPPQ out in Ventura, California, down in Asheville, North Carolina, WPVM. And of course, all of these are available in one nice, neat link, fulldradio.com. Again, fulldradio.com. Follow us, recommend us, call your girlfriend, shout it to your mother-in-law. And of course, my DMs are always open. If you're just joining us, my guest is Kent Burris. He joins us from his trailer. You know him as Dine with Kent on Instagram, on TikTok, where he's blown up over just the past 5 or 6 months. In his other life, he is a highway construction executive. He also is a captain of a fishing boat, right, which had a whole other life. But we are trying to describe and document this meteoric rise that you've had in the year 2025. Where were you, or who told you that Bella Hadid, this mega influencer, shouted you out?
Hundreds of comments the next morning. I was wondering, I got up and I checked my phone the next morning, and I had overnight, 30,000 new followers. And then in the comments, it pretty well gave me an idea why, because a famous supermodel who I didn't know who it was at the time. I do now. I follow her. But Bella Hadid was actually following me at that point, or she had reposted one of my the Ethiopian video that you mentioned. She reposted that. And I was told on Instagram about a week ago that there's an actress, I need to look her up, named Olivia Spencer or Octavia Spencer.
Oh, that's a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, I was told that I haven't confirmed it, but I was told last week that she's following me now.
Oh, let's shout it out here and see if she follows us. But I got to say, I want to play that video and the audio for our listeners out there. I encourage you to watch this on YouTube or Instagram, wherever we post it. But the restaurant, the Houston Ethiopian restaurant, was Lucy, correct? Or Lucy's?
Yes.
What I love about the name Lucy, and I don't know if it was intentional, it was like Lucy, our ancestor that was found in the Hadar Valley in Ethiopia, the remains, which tells us that all of us kind of descend from that thing, and that you immediately hit it off with who is a woman named Suzanne?
Suzanne, she's the owner.
Oh, you hit it off with her like fam. And she explained injera bread and whether you want to swap the lamb out. I'm going to play it for our listeners right here.
I'm headed to your number one choice of where to send me for cultural cuisine. But some friends of mine want me to try Ethiopian food, and I've never tried it. And I'm a fish out of water. I don't know anything.
Okay.
And I think I'd like to do the lamb instead of the beef.
Yeah.
But could you pick one for me? Just pick one for me.
Okay.
And what's your name again?
Suzanne.
Suzanne?
Suzanne.
And you're the owner.
I'm the owner.
Nice.
My husband name is Gary.
So you gave me both?
Yeah.
Oh,
I put it 50-50
sweet. Okay.
instead of watch. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's the bread. You can eat it.
I like rice.
So do you eat the rice with your hands too?
I do. I wrap it in my bread.
All right, I'm set. Here we go. Pardon my language, but this is some really good stuff. Really good chips.
It is. Lamb is real fresh.
I'm jamming to the music also. It's a really good meal.
Ethiopian King Kent. All right.
That's it.
King Kent.
I'm
Suzanne.
Lucy Restaurant.
I'm Kent. Come to Lucy's.
Nice to meet you, sir. Thank you for coming.
My video. Lucy's and Ethiopian food for me. Awesome experience. 100%.
And the amazing thing that they regale you, that they put a coat, they get you up on the throne. I mean, who doesn't love to see that?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was one of my favorite experiences, and it pulls you in, and that's kind of my point is every place, not to that extreme where I get a king and a throne, but every place I've been, all of them have been extremely nice to me, and I thrive on it, and it makes me want to go find out more.
And I think my contemporaries, of course, I love Rumi's. I've been to the one in D.C. often. There's one in Atlanta, and you went to the one in Houston. This is arguably the best Persian restaurant in the United States. And they, on cue, they noticed that you were crowned Emperor of Ethiopia. They offered you the king dish.
The king's platter.
The king's platter. And the way you kind of blushed, like, yeah, I'll take that. I like that.
Yeah, that was after the Ethiopian one where they actually dressed me up like a king. And ironically, I went to Rumi's and I sat at the bar, and he offered me the king's platter.
Which is the way to go, Sultani. I like that. I can go for that. And of course, who doesn't want to eat like a king? It's a lot of ground beef and steak and rice. I mean, it's really likable. What I'm interested in is the multiplier effect of this internationally. I mean, just take that one concept. There are, in a country that we don't have diplomatic and commercial relations with, Iran, there are many restaurant influencers in Tehran who are free to use Insta, who are free to actually, they visit the United States and try brisket in New York or try a deli. And there is this background kind of exchange of ideas, because I imagine somebody who repurposes one of your reels and hashtags Nigeria or Nigerian food or Persian food immediately catapults you across the pond. I mean, where you're a known quantity in Lagos and Tehran suddenly.
Yeah, I've been told that I'm on African Talk, and yeah, I get interaction every day with overseas followers. When I go on live, I don't do very many live videos, but when I do, it's amazing the different countries that are representative. There's people overseas. It's 3:00 in the morning their time. They should be asleep, not watching me, do a live video at the time. And I can tell you that I have struggled so much finding a real South African restaurant here in Houston, that the South Africans really got in an uproar about, me walking in and it says South African on the front of the building, but then they don't have real South African food. So I've really bonded well with South African people. They follow me every day. They contact me, and I'll tell you that they got so disgusted with me not getting authentic South African stuff that I have a package. I don't know what's in it on the way to my house from South Africa right now as we speak.
So yeah, there's always been a less than friendly rivalry between the Nigerians and the South Africans for dominance of this. As you've said, it's absolutely not monolithic. To say African food is completely meaningless, right? You can have a South African braai, a kind of stuff on a grill with what they call monkey gland sauce. You can have fufu and various other things in Africa. You can go to Ghana and have jollof rice. And there's just this friendly rivalry because now you're almost like you're a version of get Andrew Zimmern on kind of short reel Instagram and TikTok that for younger generations, especially for more ADHD cohort, 2 to 5 minutes, maybe you can refer them to YouTube. Maybe if you had more time, again, you have a day job. I want to get a sense for the potential commercialization of this. And I know you're very polite about saying that this is a hobby. You give your evenings into it. It's a labor of love. But what kind of overtures have you been getting in the DMs for commercial collaborations or even to travel to try restaurants well outside the South?
I get asked every day to take my show traveling, the Kent show, Dine with Kent traveling, to go to other states and other countries. I think there might even be a GoFundMe to get me to pay to get me to South Africa because I bonded with them so well. As far as any sponsorships, Robin, I want to make this real clear that I don't take money or food from restaurants. I do have a job. I'm a company executive.
Yes.
I get paid very well. And I'm just doing it to interact with everybody and to share where I go and what I do and have fun. And it gives me something to do at night. And yeah, I'm 5 years away from retirement, Robin. And, I'd love to cut that short. So if somebody made an offer to go travel and take my Dine with Kent traveling, I would definitely consider it and do an early retirement and go do that instead.
But your construction reconnaissance work, what is decidedly Texas and the environs? You go Oklahoma, Louisiana?
We go Texas and Louisiana. We used to do Arkansas, Mississippi, but right now it's Texas and Louisiana, which also gives me opportunities to, try other restaurants from other states while I'm working.
So let's say the Vietnamese fishing communities in Louisiana, for example, have there been overtures? Have there been invites? Or how do you do, like, we'll use the parlance of LinkedIn, lead gen. It's clear that you're not out there cribbing from Yelp or City Search or what is Zagat. I'm dating myself here. You're getting so many leads. And how did you, Rumi's clearly gets publicized nationally. They must be messaging you, but you like supporting little businesses. I'm thinking of who is this, the Chinese pancake woman in Illinois that everybody is talking about? Judy's Pancakes, just, she has a pancake shop and she's gone very viral. And I wonder, to what extent you're making overtures that are outbound versus the invitations coming in versus your listeners telling you, hey, Kent, you should check this out.
It's a combination of lots of different ones, Robin. It's sometimes I just walk into a place because I see it driving by, and typically when I walk into a place, it's going to be kind of a strip mall dive type place. But I do get invitations from restaurants on a daily basis, pretty much wanting me to come to their restaurant and try it. There's a Brazilian place right now here in Houston that's trying to get me over there. I get it, and then my followers and people in my comments, they make suggestions about restaurants and food and different culinary cuisines for me to try. And I have a list. I make a list of all of them that I can, and I try to pick one each night. When I get off work every day, I don't know where I'm going to have dinner. I just come here to the camper and I pick one, and then I go there.
So run us through some of the places you visited this year. I mean, if this is now a 5-6 month body of work, clearly Nigerian, Persian, Ethiopian. Tell us about the various things you've tried.
Vietnamese, Japanese, sushi just recently, Thai. I went to a Cameroonian restaurant last night, which is West African. Trying to think of, there's so many.
I remember the Thai peanut, the creamy peanut chicken thing that she offered you, and you were so sated. It's not like you needed to say 9 out of 10. You know, some of the influencers like, oh my gosh, guys, run, don't walk to the East Village to try this. It was just oh yeah, that hits.
Yeah, one of them was a pleasant surprise was Nepali food. I tried Nepali food about 4 to 6 weeks ago, and I found that to be really wonderful.
Tell us what is next for you. One, I also have the question some listener wanted us to ask how you stay in shape and how often you're having these substantial meals. I mean, I could see a Nexium or a Tums sponsorship for you, if nothing else.
Well, I am very active for 62. I walk 10 to 20,000 steps a day. I take the stairs most of the time instead of the elevator, that kind of thing. I do go to the gym and do light weightlifting. It's funny you asked that because the lady called me one day and she said, how is it you're going to all these restaurants and you don't weigh 800 pounds? I said, because I'm eating better than I ever have. Because foreign cuisine is much better for you than American cuisine. And I think that has a lot to do with it. I'm not eating that much. I'm just eating better.
You have to miss your wife and kids when you're on the road. Like, you want to share some of these meals with them. I imagine, when and if you try Korean barbecue, have you?
I have.
And you wouldn't want to have that alone.
I had it with my youngest daughter and her boyfriend.
What was that like? I have not seen that one.
Oh, well, I started the video in our minute that I'm going to go to a restaurant and cook for myself and pay them for it.
They do help a lot. They come and they cut the sirloin and they put all the banchan on the table. And I feel really fortunate that, I had a stretch where I lived in Manhattan where people would want to seek out these things, to go to Koreatown, or we did have Tibetan food, or you could go to Queens and Jackson Heights and Roosevelt Avenue and try these things. In defense of Texas and Louisiana, you guys have a lot of that too. You have a lot of chains, you have a lot of great interstates and, 10-lane roads that have all the Olive Gardens and Applebee's and Hardee's and Whataburgers that you could ever want. But you just have to ask and look for the smaller places. And I want you to kind of comment on the fate of small business. A lot of these people, there is an element of you pulling for the little guy, especially the guy that's not known, that's never going to get a national ad campaign, that you get the sense that now that you have this social media currency, you want to lend it out to small businesses. Talk to me about that.
I do that as much as possible. And really what really struck deep with me was the first video I saw with a guy sitting on a chair, and he said, I can't afford to pay $5,000 for an influencer to come to my restaurant, so I'll sit out here with a cardboard sign and try to get business in. And that really hit me hard. And so ever since then, if a small business reaches out like that, I'm going there. I'm not going there tomorrow. I'll do a post that here I'm coming. And typically it's what they call the duet type post, where it's me watching the video, and that hopefully gives them an indication of knowing that I'm coming. If I can't make it today, there's been many occasions when I saw a reach out video from a restaurant, I got in my truck right then and went. And I've done it many times. I did it with a Mexican seafood place. I did it with a burrito shop. I did it with a barbecue joint. I've done it with an Indian food truck over and over again. And that really, those go up to the top of my list, because if I can help them, they might be running out of time and they might not be able to pay their employees tomorrow. So if there's anything I can do, hey, I've got it. I didn't intend for this following to happen or the exposure on social media. But since it has, and if I can use that to benefit small business, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to prioritize that.
And Ken, I'd imagine, especially as you get into smaller town areas, people want to invite you back to their homes, maybe for dessert or tea or something else or a second act.
Yeah, I get invited to homes. If someone I did a Puerto Rican place, and someone says, well, that didn't look right. You need to come to my house. I've actually had legitimate offers to go to someone's house, and eat dinner with them.
Now, I'm a real small fry in the grand scheme of Instagram influence. I'm just a guy with a public radio show in the burbs, with these blinds, whatever, behind me. But I'm interested. What's beautiful, again, about the weeks that I really love my job is that I can reach out to someone like you and meet you. I wish we had some Persian food handy. Heck, I wish we were doing this at a Persian restaurant in Texas. I'd like to invite you to Richmond to bring your camera and your truck here, fly you out, truck you out, whatever it is. But what about the overtures to JV with other food influencers or charities like How Kev Eats? These are bona fide massive brands that restaurants and others make enormous appeals to bring. I mean, part of the interesting thing is seeing you with someone who's completely different from you, but has a different has a knack for social media and a knack for the serendipity and everything. Talk to me about what's happening behind the scenes with those approaches.
Well, I recently did an in-person collaboration with a very well-known Southern California food influencer named Natasha, and she reached out to me. She said, "Hey, I'm going to be in Texas. I don't know if I'm going to be close to where you're at, but I'll be in Texas. I'd love to catch up with you." I said, "Well, I'm not going to that part of Texas, but I'll meet you halfway." We did. We met at an Indian restaurant, and we did a wonderful collaboration together in person. It was just wonderful. Now, the thing with her is it's my turn to go to California and do the same thing.
Is that Natasha with the long fingernails?
I didn't.
I have to go and look it up. So oftentimes, see, the thing is, people are just avatars.
And, oh yeah, no, it's she's a real person. She's just a regular, real person like me. I think her name is Natasha Has the Munchies or something.
Oh yes,
she always pops a gummy before she walks into a restaurant. But yeah, it was her. She's in Southern California, and there's a couple of other influencers, if you will, that I would love to meet them in person.
I'm going to shout out How Kev Eats, is a fellow Iranian guy in SoCal who always eats in the car. He goes around the world. I've seen him in Italy. I've seen him in all over New York and other places. Here's the difference, though. I tried to book him on the show. We have a lot in common. He's a photogenic Persian guy, but I was handed to a business manager. And they're vetting me and everything. What's beautiful is you handled me yourself. Maybe I got you before the full, Hollywood exposure thing. But in closing, Kent, Dine with Kent, you have, let's say, 6-7 years until retirement with a day job that keeps the lights on at home. You're far from your missus many days of the week. Where do you see this going? I mean, this is something that could conceivably carry well into retirement. Or, you've only covered 2 or 3 states so far.
I don't know where it's going to end up. I didn't expect it to get here, Robin, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm blown away by it. I'm very flattered and thankful by it. And like I said, it hadn't propelled me to turn it into an income or anything like that because I still have my job. But, I guess in the perfect world, if, Netflix or the Food Channel Network or somebody wanted to send me on the road, then I'd consider retiring early probably.
Well, what about YouTube? Where does that fit into this? Do you have a YouTube channel? We keep getting told, put these longer form on YouTube. Get away from the 2 to 5 minute routine.
Yeah, and I have a YouTube. There are a few videos on there. I don't use YouTube. It's the search for YouTube for me is Kent Burris, and there's some that come up, but I don't have enough time to do that many different internet, social media venues. I just don't have the time to do that. Instagram and TikTok are keeping me very busy at night. Plus, I've got my day job. So if I had more time, I would definitely, Instagram, is subscriber base, and I belong to that part of Instagram where I could make money through subscriptions, but I don't because I don't have the time to put, and that would be like behind the scenes footage of my other videos. I just don't have time to do all that right now.
So how does that work? Walk me through it. Instagram, which is owned by Meta, Facebook, did some business manager or someone behind the scenes say, look, you should really up your game, and if you bring in another producer, if you give us various other cuts of behind the scenes, there's a chance to monetize it? I know you go out of your way to say that you are very happy with your day job, but I just want for our listeners to get a sense for when it hits that hockey stick moment or that tripwire where it could potentially become a commercial endeavor. Not you, but for them.
Well, no one's really reached out to me in that way to here. Let's up your game. So I guess that's if it's coming or whatever, we'll make those decisions then. TikTok does have a rewards program that I'm in, but I can tell you, don't try to make a living off of it because it does pay me something, but it doesn't even pay my expenses to go out and eat at these places, with gas and toll bills. And I always pay for my own, always, that's 50, 60, 80 bucks. So right now, I guess we'll just stay open-minded and see what happens.
And then in closing, I have to imagine your kind of anonymity is busted. You can no longer really walk into a place, especially if the kids are nearby with their smartphones and Instagram machines. You're a recognizable person. I mean, even if people can't specifically spell, Kent Burris, like, oh, that guy.
Yeah, the day I was at lunch with the Texas Monthly lady for that interview at the at August Pakistani and Indian place here in Houston, two or three people did come up and say, "Hey, I love your stuff. Keep it going." And last week, I work in an 8-story building that has several hundred people in it, and I get recognized in the elevator going to work and stuff like that. I was down at the Gulf Coast. I was at the grocery store last weekend. Someone says, "You're him. You're that guy." So yeah, it's kind of like that these days.
Can you imagine you and your missus in a big Winnebago in retirement, just traveling the country? And I think it's fascinating because the cost of production, the means of production, the fact again that we have these camcorders, these powerful computers in the palm of our hands where, it's not like you're walking into a restaurant and propping up a gigantic Panasonic JVC camcorder. All the stuff that you need is there. If you want to wear a lav mic, or they have the different Rode mics as you see with the influencers, or some are holding up the fuzz mic. There's a whole methodology to this, small screen thing. And I just think it's very if nothing else, it's flattering and charming and educational that you broke out doing something that just occurred to you naturally and you put it out there. And there isn't a lot of polish to it. I don't think you have a ring light or anything going on over there. But if you had to look into your crystal ball, what is this all going to turn into in 5 or 10 years?
I don't know. I'll keep doing it as long as I can, no matter what it turns into. We'll just go with the flow, take it day to day, just keep doing what we're doing and have fun with it the best way I can, try to help small business as much as I can, and we'll just keep it going.
Kent Burris, known across social media, especially on TikTok and Instagram, as Dine with Kent. I cannot wait to host you in Richmond. There are all sorts of things we can try here. We have Bosnian food. I don't think you've had that. You've clearly had Korean. We have a Lebanese-owned greasy spoon. I live near an area called Hanoi on Horsepen Road, which has a lot of Vietnamese banh mi places. But you are very much in demand, and I'm just so grateful that you immediately returned my message, and boom, here we are, and we met each other. It's such a small, beautiful world sometimes.
Well, I'd like, if we're closing, it sounds like we're closing, I'd just like to say one thing to end it. Full disclosure, and Roben's show is for me.
Oh, I love it. I'm going to explode. The paparazzi are going to be outside my door. They'll love me in Lubbock. They'll love me in Hoover and Pampa.
There you go.
Thank you, Ken. You're always welcome to come back on this show. Seriously.
My pleasure. Is very flattering, and it's great talking to you.
Thank you. Full disclosure, special thanks again to Ian Stewart. If you are listening to us on the radio, note that while we cut for broadcast, the entirety of every interview is on podcast, whether on the NPR app, Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Find them all at one neat link, fulldradio.com. Again, fulldradio.com. And recommend us to a friend. And catch me on both CNN and NPR's Here and Now. I'm Roben Farzad. Thank you for listening. Back with you next week.